And I'll call to order the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for June 21st. First order of business is approval of the minutes, and although on the sheet it says April 19th, that meeting was conducted on the 21st of May, wasn't it?
No, was canceled.
May one was.
May one was canceled due to lack of quorum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that May I wasn't here either.
Yeah, there was a lack of quorum that meeting.
First order of business is to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Do I have any additions, corrections, or anything of that sort? No. If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. Staff report, please.
Okay, Jackie's going to handle this item.
All right. The next item is 2021-09 for 1008 Quincy Street. The applicant is requesting a variance for section 4.04B2 and 4.04B3 of the adopted development regulations to allow an accessory structure greater than the square footage of a primary use and in excess of 900 square feet. The applicant and owner, Bill Seabury, is requesting a variance from the above noted sections of the adopted development regs to allow construction of a detached garage that is larger in square footage than the primary structure and is greater than 900 square feet. 4.04B2 states the total square footage of all detached structures functioning as an accessory use in a residential district shall be less than the square footage of a primary use on the parcel. In determining square footage of the primary use residential, attached structures and unfinished space shall not be counted. No more than 2 detached accessory structures shall be allowed per building, lot, or parcel, whichever is larger in area. 4.04B3 states, for a single-family residence, a garage shall not exceed 900 square feet on a parcel less than 1 acre and 1,200 square feet on a parcel 1 acre or larger. Detached garage require construction of driveways to provide access in conformance with the parking provisions of the code. The applicant proposes to construct a 2,010 square foot detached garage on the northwest corner of the property with a direct access off the adjacent alleyway. The alleyway, the property is currently zoned high density single family residential R16 with a single family dwelling and 2 accessory structures. The applicant has agreed to remove one of the existing accessory structures prior to the construction of the proposed garage in order to comply with the maximum number of accessory structures permitted on one residential lot. The proposed garage has a footprint of 1,200 square feet with an 810 square foot second story for a total of 2,010 square feet, which is in excess of the existing 1,114 square foot house on the property. The proposed use of the structure is to display years of collectibles, toys, signs, cars, motorcycles, G-scale trains and tracks, and other types of collectibles, as well as storing parts for a 1955 Chevy that will be built in the garage. After required notice that was published, staff received one comment from a neighbor located at 1016 Quincy in favor of the variance request. This item was previously heard at the April 19th meeting and was tabled in order to provide clarification on specific sections of the development regulations requiring a variance into the clarification of the notification procedures. This state statute 12-759 states that the Board of Zoning Appeals shall administer the details of appeals from or other matters referring to it regarding the application of the zoning ordinance or resolution as hereafter provided. The board shall fix a reasonable time for the hearing of an appeal or any other matters referred to it. Notice of the time, place, and subject of such hearing shall be published once in an official city newspaper in case of a city, and in the official county newspaper in case of a county, at least 20 days prior to the date fixed of hearing. A copy of the notice shall be mailed to each property to the appeal and to the appropriate planning commission. Staff has determined that the statutory notification requirements were met. That's all I have.
Anyone have any questions of the staff?
The other buildings that are on the property, how large are those buildings, or which one is being, do you know which one they're planning on tearing down?
No, we didn't discuss it any further than the last meeting.
Okay, I can ask the applicant that.
Yep, he is here.
Okay, not yet, please, sir.
I guess I have a question regarding the last part of the ordinance in 4.04.B.3. It says detached garages require construction of driveways to provide access in conformance with the parking provisions of the code. So they would have to provide a driveway from the front of their property to those doors?
No, so, if you're off of an alley, your driveway can be off of the alley, it doesn't have to come off of the street. And the regulations do allow for, a parking pad to be made of gravel if it's coming off of that alley. So since he's in that rear yard right up against the alley, he's got a few options for how he accesses that from the alley. But some sort of drive will have to be constructed, but it can be from the alley.
Okay. Which way were those doors facing? I don't remember. Which street? Are they facing the house or are they facing the alley?
Neither.
But the alley,
When
the
I
garage
looked at-
door is facing the alley.
Garage doors will face east. The house, the back end of the house faces north, and the alley runs east and west. So it will face down toward 10th Avenue.
Okay, so then he'll just have to have a driveway that can come off of that alley, accessing those garage doors.
After reading the minutes of the last meeting several times, I'm still a little bit confused because I wasn't here for the meeting. Are we just talking about the footprint, or has the matter been resolved as to whether the loft is included in the amount of space authorized?
Yeah, so the intent of the regulations was that the total square footage of any accessory structure be included. It doesn't say just the footprint. So in our update to the development regulations that was approved by the city commission here earlier this month, we clarified that language to state that any second story of an accessory structure is included in that calculation. So that was the intent, but we just clarified that language to make it more obvious.
But for our purposes, we're operating under the previous regulation, is that correct?
Right, but that was still the intent of it because it didn't state just the footprint. It said the total square footage.
Also, in the minutes, there was the statement that there would be no windows in the building, and in the drawing provided, I count several.
That was just a conceptual. This is what he ended up submitting later on, that he hand drawn of what it's gonna end up looking like.
Okay. Okay. We'll open the public hearing.
So, Mr. Sieber, if you wanted to,
Mr. Sieber?
Hello.
I had a question about the buildings that are currently on there. You have two buildings and you're gonna tear one down.
Yeah, well, they're just those little cheap metal sheds set on a platform, you know, the tin ones you buy at Walmart, and you just bolt them together.
What size are they?
They're, I think they're like 8 by 8
Each?
each.
Okay.
And I can tear, you know, I mean, all you do is unscrew it and it comes apart, so there's no problem with taking one down. And they said actually later on, if I wanted to, that I could combine, make it one big, as long as I just had one building, I was okay. But if I get the garage, I really don't need them anyway.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter to me, I can tear them both down if you want.
Do you have any questions?
Not questions. I have concerns, but not questions.
Okay. Thank you.
That it?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. If there's nobody else here with regard to 1008 Quincy? No? Okay.
Well, I just have a concern with something this big, particularly it's bigger than the existing structure on the site being constructed. I mean, one of our criteria, well, several of the criteria, actually, I just can't get past. Well, the 2A, the variance requested arises from such a condition which is unique to the property and is not ordinarily found in the same district and is not created by actions of the property owner or the applicant. So it's really hard for me to get past that one when you're requesting additional square footage for an outbuilding, regardless of whether I think it's a good idea or not. Particularly, well, several reasons. One is it's bigger than the house, so I have that issue. The topography is terrible on that lot. So, I mean, that would obviously be your challenge in order to make that viable, but I have a hard time getting past that particular requirement in terms of the variance.
Ron?
I don't have anything to add.
Well, if that's the case, then we'll go through the requirements. A request for variance may be granted upon the finding of the board that all of the following conditions have been met. The board shall make a determination of each condition, and the findings shall be entered into the record. The first condition is that the variance requested arises from such condition which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district, is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant. Commissioner Bates?
Disagree.
Disagree.
I disagree also. We really don't have to go through.
we'd have you go through all of them for the record.
Okay. That the granting of the permit for the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents.
I disagree. I think a structure that large would adversely affect the adjacent property owners, even though those immediately affected by it might agree with it at the moment.
I disagree.
I disagree also.
Sorry, did you say disagree?
Disagree. That the strict application of the provisions of the development regulations from which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner represented in the application.
Disagree.
Disagree.
I disagree also. That the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare.
Disagree.
I disagree.
I agree.
And that granting the variance desired will not be opposed in the general spirit and intent of the development regulations.
Disagree.
Disagree.
So I disagree there. So, based on the voting, the variance is denied.
Okay.
Let me get to the next one. Next up is a variance request for 1187 Randolph Street. Staff report, please.
Excuse me. The applicant is requesting a variance from the section 4.03E and 4.04B3 of the adopted development regulations to allow a reduction to the required accessory structure setback and to allow an accessory structure larger than 900 square feet. The applicant and owner, Tom Ramir, is requesting a variance from section 4.04E and it should be 4.03E and 4.04B3 of the adopted development regulations. 4.03E states, no accessory building shall be erected in the required front yard or side yard or at any other place forward of the main building line. The 4.04B3 for single-family residence, a garage shall not exceed 900 square feet on a parcel less than 1 acre and 1,200 square feet on a parcel 1 acre or larger. Detached garages require construction of driveways to provide access in conformance with the parking provisions of the code. There currently exists a 900 square foot garage located at the southwest corner of the lot. It is currently a legal non-conforming structure that encroaches the required 25 foot setback. It currently sits roughly 13 feet from the property line. Section 1.05E, the development regulation states, a structure which is in nonconformance with respect to the side or rear yard setback shall not use the existing setbacks in expanding or enlarging, but may be enlarged if the new part of the structure complies with the setbacks of the district. The proposed changes involve an addition on the south side of the existing accessory structure to allow an additional covered parking. The lot is located at 1187 Randolph Street, which is currently zoned high-density single-family residential district, R16. The subject property is surrounded by properties that are zoned R16. The applicant is proposing to add the additional single car space to accommodate additional car that was recently purchased. The proposed addition will result with the accessory structure being roughly 1,260 square feet, existing at the 13-foot setback, not meeting the 25-foot setback from the property line. Staff has received one comment from a neighbor located at 1140 Iron Mulder Street in favor of the variance request.
Any questions of the staff? Then I'll open the public hearing People are here. Come up to the podium and make your case, please.
Good evening. I'm Tom Romer, this is my wife Kathy. And what we're trying to do is just add a lean-to to the south side of our garage. And I want to seek variance to allow for the proposed, it's on the alley, and that's where I proposed to build it. I'm gonna make it look like the rest of my garage. It's an improvement. I've got a new little truck that has no home and needs it badly. This is stuff that I've done to that place since we bought it. It's nothing but improvements. And that's where I'd like to park that thing right there.
What you're proposing would have, would be enclosed on the side and in the back?
What I propose to do, yes, it's gonna be totally enclosed. 2 garage doors. One for access so I can run my riding lawnmower out or back in or out of them to my existing green space. I have dogs, so the whole property's fenced. I've moved the fence, the existing fence, back so that there's, I have access into my backyard and build it onto the existing structure on a, just like I say, on a lean-to. That way I don't have to tear into the existing structure of the slope of the roof of the garage. It would match the front of the house or the front of the garage, and then I'll have a smaller, like, maintenance type garage door on the back side of it. Picture you had up earlier is it pretty much shows you it's not interfering with traffic in the alley, sight lines in the alley. You know, I've talked to my neighbors, nobody's against it.
I wish that was all it took, but
I know,
unfortunately it's not.
I understand. Here I am, seeking a variance.
The back end of the building is is encroaching in the rear setback, is that correct?
No, it's there off of Franklin. That setback there is what's encroaching this distance here. Once it gets here, it's because this is 13 versus 25 since it's a double frontage.
But that's all already non-conforming.
Correct.
When did you build the garage?
The garage was built in 2004, I think, pretty sure. I got it on one of these things, one of the pictures. June of 1994.
Looks like you just about rebuilt that house.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. The day we pulled away from there, it was everybody in the neighborhood was standing out there looking and took the whole top of it off and left the dump truck there to gut the inside and pulled away. I bought it because it had 2 blue spruces on it, and I loved them. So we pretty much went from there. The garage was kind of grandfathered in. There was an existing building on the old property, and we set the cornerstone in the footings for the garage. So it was basically a garage remodel.
Any other questions? No?
No.
No? Well, then I'll close the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
A request for a variance may be granted upon the finding of the board that all the following conditions have been met. The board shall make a determination on each condition, and the findings shall be entered in the record. That the variance requested arises from such condition which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district and is not created by an action or actions of the property owner. Mr. Bates?
I disagree.
I agree.
First, I just want to say you guys have done a beautiful job on your yard, and it obviously is well-maintained and well-loved, and you have the perfect spot, obviously, for a garage addition. But because of this one phrase here that requires us to find agreement in the state statutes, I have to disagree. As much as I would love for you to be able to build that extension to your garage, I can't get past what the law says. So, I disagree.
That the granting of the permit for the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents.
Agree.
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 That the strict application of the provisions of the development regulations from which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner represented in the application.
Disagree.
Disagree.
I agree. Variance desired will not affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare.
Agree.
Agree?
Agree.
And the granting of variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the development regulations.
Disagree.
Disagree.
Disagree. So the variance is denied. Do you have any further business to bring forward?
Nope, no other items. I would just let you know that earlier this year and last year, we've had a few requests for sign variances for legal non-conforming businesses, businesses that are allowed to exist, but the way the regulations were worded, they couldn't get a sign without a variance. So we, at the board's request, we made an update to the regulations here that will allow those legal non-conforming businesses to be able to get a sign in conformance with our regulations without needing a variance request. So doesn't mean you won't see any more if they want something more than what they're allowed to get, but we've tried to make it a little bit more business friendly for them to get their signs when the business is already allowed.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you.
do we have and we do have a meeting next month. I think we have one item on it.
What day is that going to fall on?
Do you know off the top of your head?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay?
that's all we've
Thank
got.
you. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment of the meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.